there's something I want to get into today, and I haven't talked about it much, but I have talked about it once before, and it's about honey traps, honeypots, and the shit goes on a lot more than you think. And that's the one thing they love to use. They love to use neighbors, and they love to use women to try to seduce you and then try to get all your information so they can smear you and start a bunch of rumors and lies and shit about you. And this girl that I dated for a while, she did that to me. Exactly that. And I'll tell you how I know that in a minute. But aside from that, the day that I met her, I knew something was off. It's just like I'm that person, you know, I can just see when something's right. It's like I can just see, I'm not saying I'm psychic, but I'm just saying I can just see when something's not right, when it's a scenario that just doesn't make sense. And I still 100% believe to this day that this is what this is. Well, long story short, I just had the feeling when I met her at this bar this night, and as soon as I sat down to her, and right next to her, she was alone, and I just had this feeling, somebody put this girl here to try to seduce me and to try to get information from me, and because, you know, she acted standoffish at first, but then she started to chat with me like she really likes me, she wants to talk to me and all this stuff, and one thing led to another. I had her number, and then I'm giving her a ride home, and then we start dating, and then we're in a relationship, and then we break up, then we get back together again, then we break up, then we get back together again, then we break up, then we get back together again, then we break up, then we get back together again. And through all that shit, the first like 3 months was great. Like, it was really great. And after that, like, she went home to visit her family. She came home a complete bitch. It was like a totally different person. Really standoffish, really cold. And I just did not understand where this total, like, 180 and changes came from in her personality. But she started telling me earlier on how we were dating, how she knows this guy, was married to this guy, and how she was only 12 when they met. Can you believe that? She was 12 years old. And she was in foster care. And the guy somehow adopted her or something out of the foster home and became her legal guardian. Next thing you know, they're dating. And then they have a kid together. And she's now in her 40s, and she's still with this guy, or still off and on with this guy, or friendly at least. And this guy sexually abused her and beat her and raped her, and she was a prostitute, basically. He was like, he took her under her wing, and then he basically like, well, I don't know she was a prostitute, but I had that strong feeling. The moment I met her that night, I had a feeling it's just like I see things. I just saw something like she used to be an escort worker, or at least she used to be a prostitute. I'm not saying she was, but I think when she was younger, he made her perform prostitution as a minor. And then she got away from him, and then she got back together with him again and all this shit, but she always talked about how much she hated his guts. She can't stand the guy. She hates his guts. You know, he's 40 years older than her, or 30 years older than her, and, you know, all this shit. But yet you still let your daughter go and stay with him. That's what's weird. She lets her daughter go stay with this guy who sexually abused her and raped her and beat her. Yet she lets the daughter still go there. Now, something doesn't make sense. If you have a daughter and you know that when she goes to visit her real dad, and her dad's a pedophile, and her dad took advantage of her mother when she was a girl, and the daughter comes home always crying and acting like something happened bad at the dad's house, why would you continue to let your daughter go over there? If you think, if A, he did abuse you, and you had a kid with him, and then you let her go over there by herself without you for a week or two, why are you going to do that if he did that to you, and you think that he could possibly be doing that to her because she comes home all like distraught and upset? Why would you be putting your daughter in that kind of situation? And every time I was around her, all this shit, shit started happening that happens now. People would come around, give me dirty looks, give me weird faces. And at one point I'm like, what the hell's this guy looking at me like that for? And she goes, hey, look over here at me. Don't pay attention to him. Pay attention to me. And that right there, that was when I knew that this bitch was involved. I knew, but I still went along with it. Like, I knew from the start I met her that someone put her up to this. And I went along with it. And I knew that day that she, when she said, don't worry about that. Don't look at him. That was something off about that. Like, why was she so eager to direct my attention away from the person that was staring at me and then have me, like, pay attention to her? And then she would just say these things, and I always felt like she was just fishing for information. I could just tell by her tone. She goes, do you ever notice when we're around that people just give us weird looks? And another thing, too, she was a black girl. And I really honestly believe this, that she was set up to see, and that just proves, like, I love all women. I'll date anyone. I don't care if she's black, white, Hispanic, Asian. It's all about the inside. But what I think she was doing was she was working with these people. I think she was under the Freemasonic code, okay? And all the Freemasons, they work together to pit all the minorities against each other, all the ones in power, all the black ones in the power, all the white ones in power, the Hispanics, and they want to see everybody just go at each other while the top 1%ers will be fine. That really are the true Masons. And I've done a lot of research on Freemasonry. A lot of the shit that goes on in Freemasonry today isn't real Freemasonry. A lot of the people that are involved in Freemasonry don't even know what the fuck they're doing. It's not real Freemasonry. It's not what dates back to the 1700s in Scotland. So while they're doing this, I really honestly believe that while we were together, she was like somehow either her ex, the one that was abusing her, was doing this, was somehow either directly or indirectly getting her involved and making it look like when we go around each other, I noticed a lot of white and black people give me looks like, why are you dating this black girl? You honky? And white people would do it too, but more black people. And I think that was a ploy to try to get me worked up, to go off on someone who would be staring at me with a black woman, because it would piss me off when a white guy or a black guy or anybody would stare like they thought it was a problem, because I fucking hate that shit. I hate it. Anybody can date anybody they want, and I don't get it. It doesn't matter about, nothing's about race. It's about what's on the inside. And people that try to make a relationship about race are the biggest insecure pieces of shit on earth, and they can all die for all I care. And so I think they were like trying to get like just people that didn't like interracial relationships to come around us when we were together and give us dirty looks. And they would get mad at her and do shit to her sometimes that would piss her off. To sometimes think, I don't think she was always involved, but I don't always think she was totally 100% involved in the beginning. I think she kind of went along with it, but she got more involved as it went along. And as shit went along, things just started getting weirder and weirder and weirder. And then she also told me about her husband, the guy, the old man that groomed her and abused her as a kid, is now still doing these tactics. She had to move 1,000 miles away from him, and he's still hacking into her phone, and he's monitoring where she is. And then she slips up and tells me one day that he hacked into my phone and found out where I am. So, and then the next time I asked her one other time about it, and then she says she didn't say that. And more weird shit happened. She said that she was this big Christian and she was a virgin, or she was a celibate. She doesn't sleep anymore with guys. doesn't date. She was just with that one guy who she was with, and that was it. Bullshit. That's why I go and find Tinder, and I find OkCupid and all these things on her phone one time. And then a couple years ago when I saw her, she's like, doesn't go to church anymore now. She's totally against church. Yet she has some kind of like Buddhist thing or like Indian kind of thing in her bathroom, which is weird if you're a Christian. And then I saw a pentagram, an incense holder that has a pentagram on it. A pentagram. So why would a Christian have a satanic symbol pentagram on and a Buddhist thing in her bathroom? I mean, none of this shit. And the next time I came, the Buddhist curtain was gone and the pentagram was up. So it almost made me think, like, did they... So this is what I was like I was kind of wondering, like, was she on it from the start or did they get to her? I really honestly believe she was on it from the start. I think they told her to go meet me at the bar, hooked me in right away, and then after that it got worse, and it just got worse from there. And she would say these things when we would like sometimes get into an argument. She goes, you know, I could say things about you and I could share things about you that would totally destroy you and ruin your life. She said that. She said, I could share things about you that would totally destroy you and ruin your life. It's like, why would she say that? You know? Like, so all these things, and then like it just makes sense. Like, why would she say that? Because someone did share some shit about me, and someone is trying to ruin my life now. So it just, everything points back to this bitch, 100%. And on top of that, she started doing these things to gaslight me and try to make me sound like all of a sudden I have a problem with people of color now. She said, I think you have a problem with people of color, even though I dated you on and off for 5 years. I have a problem with people of color because I one time said, this is why she thinks I have a problem with people of color. This is how they'll gaslight the fuck out of you for anything. Because where she lived was ghetto. It was really ghetto. I'm like, I just said, there's a lot of ghetto people. It's really ghetto here. A lot of Hispanics live here. That's all I said. I didn't say black people. I just said it's kind of ghetto here and you got a lot of Hispanics. That's all I said. There's nothing racist about that. But then she goes, oh my gosh, I really think you have a problem with people of color. I really do. And then she kept saying that every time we talk. I think you have a problem with people of color. And no matter how much I said, oh, well, I'm dating you and I've been with you for 5 years, like, that doesn't matter, I guess. I mean, we started off like in a relationship, and then it was just kind of on and off fuck buddies and friends and benefits kind of thing. But still, like, we were together for 5 years. So why would you... So what I think, this is honestly what I think she said, I'll share enough to destroy you. This is what I think. One time she asked me, we were talking about race, we were going off, and I was just talking about how everyone should be treated equally. No one should be discriminated against their color or treated differently as far as for favor or good. Like, I'm talking about like affirmative action or discrimination. Like, I think everyone should be treated equally. She goes, well, I don't think everyone should be treated equally. I was like, well, why do you always tell me that's what you want? It's like, yeah, but I want people to recognize our, what people of color go through. I'm like, but yeah, you want people to recognize that, but then you don't want people to recognize it. And I'm just like, it can't be a two-way street. And then she just starts going off and this and that. And then all of a sudden she goes, have you ever like called someone the N-word before? I'm like, no, never. And I was like, I might have said it in a joke, like I said, hey, this, and that, but I'd never that was a long ass time ago if I did. But then again, this is what I said, a quote, I said, but I've never directly just call someone a nigger to their face like that. She goes, what? What did you say? Oh my God, I can't believe you said that. It's like, no, I'm just saying, I'm referencing that. I'm saying I would never call someone that. It's like, I don't care, but you should never say that, blah, 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 blah. That's just wrong, you shouldn't say that, and blah, 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 blah. And so what I think, by that one time, I think she took my recording, and I think she spliced it, and this is what they do. They deep fake shit, and they try to make it look like I said that word in a bad way. That's what I think. Also, one time, we were getting through having sex, and she goes, okay, Alexa, stop recording now. And I thought at that time it was a joke, but now that I think back, I don't. I think she's shared like sexual stuff on the internet with us. I think she's recorded misconstrued stuff and shared it. And I've also done some research to come to believe, to what I've seen, is that she is involved with Antifa. And from what I've heard about Antifa, they're kind of a terrorist organization. And then I start wondering sometimes, why do so many black people all the time look at me, give me dirty looks, or walk around give me dirty looks? And I'm thinking, because of this bitch right here, because she smeared me to all these hate groups and online groups and told them I was a bad person, and that's why they're coming after me. And she probably went and smeared me to like misconstrued shit to other like Hispanic people, Asian, any kind of people, gay people. They probably like took something out of context and said I said something about that. I mean, that's what they do. They try to twist anything you can and turn you against everyone. So I'm just going on the record to let everyone know, be careful, because I got involved with the biggest piece of shit ever, and it was some great sex, really great sex. I mean, we fucked each other's brains out, but in the end, it's not worth it, because they love to do that. They love to get these bitches hooked into you so they can destroy you. But they haven't destroyed me, but they want to. They want to. And that's why she said, I could share things about you to destroy you. So. Another thing that was weird that she said one time too is like, I don't know where this came from, but she said her daughter was, this was when her daughter was 12. And why would you joke about it? Even if it was a joke, why would you say it? She goes, sometimes when she's stressed out, I breastfeed her to relax her. I'm like, what? He's like, you don't lactate? I'm like, haha, I'm just kidding. I'm like, are you really? And then she started to kind of smirk. I don't know. I'm just